Hello everybody, today I'm going to be showing you how to make this paper Harry Potter inspired owl cage. It's really easy to make. It's literally made out of paper and a little bit of foam board. It's got a detachable lid, unlike most of the other paper ones I've seen on Pinterest or on YouTube, and it looks really cool on my Harry Potter shelf. Right, so let's get going. Okay, so the first thing I did was took a little piece of foam board and found something round around the size I wanted the base of my owl cage to be, and I just drew around it and cut it out with a craft knife. The next thing I done was cut a piece of card, double the height I wanted the rim of the base of my cage to be. I just went for a ruler thickness if you want to do what I did. It's quite hard to explain that, so I know what I said was just a little bit confusing, but if you keep watching it will all make sense in a minute. You need this piece of card to be able to stretch a whole way around the base that you've already cut out, so you're probably going to need to cut two of those and stick them together. So I've got two pieces of card that together will be long enough to measure around my foam board base, and I'm just going to stick those together. I'm just going to fold that piece of card in half widthways and just make sure I really do stick it down so it is secure together. I used my glue bottle just to roll it along and help it stick a little bit, but my glue is quite fast drying so it didn't take too long. Once your strip of card is completely dry, we're just going to use some glue to stick it around your foam board base. I used a hair clip just to hold it in place at the end while it was drying. So now we're going to make the bars for the cage. I just used a A4 piece of card and measured lengthways 8 strips along it, just making sure they are the same width. I have used a ruler to cut out everything in this just to keep it neat and tidy. Okay, so when you've got your 8 pieces, we're going to stick them in a kind of star shape. So we're going to start with making a cross. I just used a bit of Mod Podge for this, and you just want to make sure you're sticking them as evenly as you possibly can. So I made the cross and then I stuck the extra 4 in between the cross pieces, and it is just the easiest way to make sure they're all evenly spaced out. Okay, so while that's drying, we're going to make the piece to hold it all together. It's going to be exactly the same as the cardboard strip we made for the base piece, it just needs to be a tiny bit shorter. The reason it needs to be a little bit shorter is because it needs to be able to fit inside the base you've made, so just make sure that it is going to do that before you stick it together. And I just used a hair clip to hold it in place to dry again. Okay, so when both those pieces are dry, we're going to stick them together. This is going to be a lot easier to watch than to explain, but I've started by using the 4 pieces of the cross and sticking those in first. I just put a little bit of glue on the end and then sort of place them evenly throughout. It will be a little bit fiddly to get this into place, but it should hold quite quickly if you use Mod Podge. And then I stuck in the other 4 pieces. The good thing with using Mod Podge is it won't dry immediately, so you will have a little bit of room if you haven't stuck them in evenly. And then when it is dry, it should slip into the base like this, and then you've got a removable cage. That is the basic cage made. I'm just going to add some details now. So I've just cut a small circle of card and I've cut a slip in it to make it into a kind of cone shape, and I'm just going to stick that together. And then using a little bit of Mod Podge, I'm just going to stick that underneath the bars. It is a little bit fiddly, but it's not too hard. I made another slightly smaller one of those and then stuck it on top, and then I've just put some bars around the edge. Just cut strips similar to the way I did to actually make the bars, and then just slowly stuck them around the edge. and I've also cut another little strip and stuck it in the top as a loop to take it off. It's all pretty easy to do. I didn't film doing it because I wasn't 100% sure where I was going with it, but you can see what I've done. The last thing I did was I took it outside and spray painted it silver, but that is an entirely optional stage. And then it is completely finished. I made a little owl and an owl stand out of clay, but you could just buy a little owl to put in it or make any kind of one you want. It is entirely up to you. But yeah, there it is, completely finished. I think it looks really cool on my Harry Potter shelf and it's so simple to make. So I hope you enjoyed this and I will see you later.